Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. This is the Master Teacher Serene. Today, we're going to talk about a statement: God is black and Jesus Christ is African. Why would somebody claim that statement to be true? I'm going to try to explain where is that coming from and why black people believe it's quite important to claim this statement, this affirmation. First of all, I'd like to remind you all that scientifically, it's widely known that Africa is the cradle of humanity. Pretty much, Africa is the backbone. Africa is the mother hen. Africa is the source, the origin of the world, especially the human species. What I want to say is that Africa is where the evidence of the first man to exist, the oldest man to exist, were found. That being said, we all agree that Africa is the cradle of humanity, and in the Bible it's written that God created man in his image. Your image is pretty much, when you look into the mirror, what you see is your image. So if God created man in his image, that means that we should be the image of God, and the first man should be the image of God, because we know the theory of evolution, how black turned into white because of the pretty much the regions where they were vacating, where it was cold. Well, that's pretty much, some would believe in the monkeys turning into men. Whatever they have told you, that's your problem. But technically, we know that black can become white. You see Michael Jackson, right? Black can turn into white, but white can never turn into black or purple or something of a kind. So we all are actually aware or conscious about the fact that God created man in his image. And if God should have a body, shape or form, it should be black, because the first man found to exist in this world is from Africa, is black. Therefore, God is black. But then also in the Bible, the same Bible, it's mentioned that Jesus Christ is the Son of the living God. If God is black from Africa, then Jesus is African. So I think I've made it clear to everybody now. Now, the next question is, why is that important to claim to have the ownership of God, or kind of some sort of divine nature? Because as a black person, you are sort of indoctrinated. You are sort of, it's your inheritage to claim that you are a divinity by nature, by birth, because you exactly look the way God looks. Now, the problem is, why would somebody claim that? Is it some sort of self-esteem issue? Is it some sort of identity crisis? I believe that to be true. You know, black people have been the nation that has suffered the most in this world. They've gone through colonization, they've gone through slavery. Slavery even happened after in America for about like 300 years. Colonization has been happening. It happened like for more than 500 years. They've gone through a process of dehumanization. People were, dehumanization is more like you are turned into an animal. Black people have been taught to hate the color of their skin. the color of their skin complexion. They have been taught to hate how they look. They have been taught to hate their ancestors. They have been taught to believe that they are worth nothing. They have no history. They have taught to hate themselves, self-hatred. This is what colonization has brought in the minds, generational kind of thing, the curse for Africans to believe that they actually are not worth it, because some of us were enslaved, and it's still happening now, meant like modern slavery. Africa is rich but poor. We've got the riches, we've got the resources that can be used to make Africa great again, but the leaders, the political system is kind of controlled by the colonizers and all those people that believe that Africa should be a place of war, a place of suffering, and they only show bad things about Africa. Where the devil is, God has left Africa. So pretty much somehow it's true to say that Africans have a problem of self-esteem. Most Africans want to look white because they've taught them to hate themselves. They've taught them to, your hair, you want it to, they will dye their hair so that it will look kind of white. They will bleach their skin to look kind of white, because that's what the image, those who came to make for colonization and slavery, and so they have dehumanized them to look at. Most Africans hate one another. It's some kind of self-hatred, which is a problem. So, like I'm saying, self-esteem and identity is a problem in the African or the black nation, because they have lost themselves. 500 years of slavery, and now they're trying to recover. Africa was great only once back then, when Africa was called Egypt, and they were the greatest. They were the strongest. But nowadays Africa is the last continent in the world. So yeah, somehow I do support those people preaching that God is black and Jesus Christ is African. I think it's a way to remind black people that you are in the image of God. God is the creator of this world. God is the most high. God is the most powerful. So if you are in the image of God, you should take back your destiny. You should take back your greatness. You should go back to the top, because you are meant to be the head, not the tail. So it's somehow a reminder to Africans to believe that they matter, they are beautiful, they must be on top of the world, they must rule the world because they are gods. And yeah, I support it. Now, one more thing is, right now we see that Africa is, the last in the world. I believe the religious people are making it the wrong way. It's good to tell black people that God is black and Jesus Christ is African, which is not bad. But what is it changing? Honestly, what is it changing in Africans' lives? What is it changing in Africa? Africa is a place where most intellectual people don't do anything about the country. Most leaders don't do anything to help the country grow. Most leaders, they just, Africa is more like trash to them. If you tell someone that is stupid, that God is black, what is it going to change in that stupid person's life? So what I think should be taught is not just that God is black, but also the mentality should change. We should go into action now. We should recreate the Africa we want to see tomorrow. We should create what we believed Africa is, what Africa used to be back then when Africa was the greatest continent of the world. We should implement what has to be done so that when we say Africa is the cradle of humanity, then we should feel that the essence of that cradle is not just from a scientific point of view of existence, but it should be also seen from the greatness seen on the ground, the amount of opportunities, a place where we can call paradise on earth. We have all the resources. We have all the natural resources, riches to make Africa great. We have a beautiful sun. We have a beautiful, no natural disasters in Africa. The soil is so rich. Why is it that Africa is rich but poor? Why is it that the infrastructures are sort of crazy? Why is it that people don't, some places there is no electricity? Internet is still a problem. Why? So we should take back our power. I'm not saying that I'm against white people or anything of the sort. The system is the problem. You go to a shop, you will see a black doll looking like a demon and the white one looking like an angel. If you see those Jesus books, the Bible's books, Jehovah's Witnesses, they will be painting the devil as a black person, and then which one? The angels, God, with the white sort of costume or something of a sort, looking like, them. And the devil, what kind of image do they want to portray for black people? I wonder what's their intentions. They came first to colonize people. They came to enslave people. They killed 70% of the African population, of the black people in particular. Then they took over everything. If you go to most African countries, the richest people on the ground are foreigners. They own all the businesses, they own the entire territory. You go abroad, in China, you cannot even buy land as a foreigner. You go most countries, you cannot buy land. In Africa, Chinese people have bought so much land. Half of my country, for example, Congo, they have bought half of the country. And they do agriculture and send it, instead of even feeding the people on the ground, they send it back to their country. So what's wrong with African? What's wrong with black people? Why so much suffering? Why so much pain? Meanwhile, we are gods. We are in the image of God. We are the cradle of humanity. Thanks for watching. That was your boy, the Master Teacher Suri.